Welcome, everybody, back into another episode of Degenerate Dillon podcast. My name is Dillon Nelson. It is February 4th, 2021. We made some great picks yesterday. We made one bad pick. Listen, it's sports gambling. That happens. Today, hopefully, we'll be better. If we can get better than 2 out of 3, we're doing all right. First game of the night, we will start with our loss of the night. LSU faced Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Alabama was favored by 8.5. We took LSU in the points. It did not work out. Will Wade and crew did not play the defense we thought they would play and got pummeled by a fantastic Alabama team. Sorry I ever doubted you, Nate Oates. I know better than that. We all know better than that. It won't happen again, especially not in SEC play, being undefeated in SEC play. I just figured the Tigers defense might show up and might travel with them, and they could pull this game, at least keep it close. They did the first half. The final or the halftime score was 36-30. So the 6-point, ratio right there, where you could see where we were okay with that halftime score. And then LSU just came out and fell flat on their face on defense and couldn't guard anybody, and Alabama just picked them apart. Listen, it happens. It happens. A team as good as Alabama can go on runs like that and completely shatter your line. But that's the only game we lost last night. I'm not worried about it. I didn't throw the mortgage on that one. But Will Wade and crew, if we can get off on that for a second, Will Wade and crew need to figure this thing out. They are going to be in serious trouble when it comes March time, and they need to, they're going to need to make it pretty far. If they keep going on this same track, they're going to need to make it pretty far into the SEC tournament to make March Madness. It's the struggle bus is real right now with LSU, and they're going to have to figure out their identity very soon, or things could get real really quick for Will Wade and crew. Alabama, on the other hand, looked just as good as they did 2-3 weeks ago. They didn't shoot the ball as good as they had 2 or 3 weeks ago, but boy, they sure did run, and they made everything inside the restricted area. John Petty didn't play his greatest game last night, but a lot of bench players for Alabama showed up. They did a great job last night beating a decent Tiger team. Good job to Nate Oates and crew for winning the games they're supposed to. Second game of the night was Kentucky visiting Mizzou in Columbia. We took Mizzou -4.5 as our lock of the night. The final score was 75-70. Boy, was the heart beating fast. Missouri looked like they had things locked up at halftime, leading by double digits, and then they come out the second half and just fall flat on their face, can't play any defense, kind of like LSU did, just can't play any defense, and Kentucky just runs all up and down the court and makes every layup. It worried you a little bit, but Missouri figured out a way to win this game and cover. What's the saying? Good teams win and great teams cover. Well, Missouri was a great team last night, covering our 4.5 line. They have a really big game coming up this weekend against Alabama, which we will dive into on Friday evening, if not Saturday morning. I have guest Jackson Collier of the JC Hoops Pod. He also works for Rivals.com. Will be coming on the show to discuss Saturday's matchups in the SEC and elsewhere. So look forward to that this weekend. Third game of the night last night, Bucks and Pacers. Pacers visiting the Bucks in Milwaukee. This could have been a lock of the night too. Milwaukee's playing great right now. They've now won 2 in a row by more than 15 points. I'm telling you right now, I'm on a run right now. I will bet Milwaukee to the death of me. They are playing so good right now, and they're on a little stretch of playing mid-tier teams in the NBA, and these lines they're probably going to get worse and worse for the better for Milwaukee, but they've been really friendly with the lines against these mid-tier teams because Milwaukee had not played great. as of late. But last night I saw I took the line at 8.5 in the morning, saw the potential for making some money in this game. And that's exactly what we did. The final score was 130-110. Giannis scored had a triple double. Pacers never stood a chance. So that was it for those games. We will dive straight into the games tonight. It is Thursday, so there's not really a whole lot of college basketball. There's some Pac-12 games. There's a really big Big Ten game tonight, Ohio State at Iowa. We will cover that game right now. It's a huge Big Ten matchup in Iowa City tonight. Number 7, Ohio State. They come to town. They've won 9 out of their last 12. They're 5-3 in quad 1 games. I love Ohio State this year. I've read some articles that writers kind of have them a little bit overrated at number 7. They don't think they're good enough to be a number 2 seed in the tournament. I disagree. I think this Ohio State team has the weapons to be a number 2 seed in the tournament, and I think they're right where they need to be at number 7. 5-3 in quad 1 games. I mean, this year with teams, good teams losing these games they shouldn't. Just like last night, Villanova lost to St. John's. I mean, that's a game Villanova needs to win by 10, 15 points. They should win by 10, 15 points. And they got beat by more than 10. So with all games happening this year, Ohio State having a 5-3 record in quad 1 games is impressive to me. Diving into Iowa, while Iowa has a great offense, the best in the nation, perhaps, they are terrible defensively, ranking 11th in the Big Ten. Iowa is still a very dangerous team when Luka Garza is rolling and the perimeter players are hitting their shots. The Hawkeyes are nearly impossible to keep up with. Ohio State has their ultimate test tonight to see whether they're worthy of that 2 seed in the NCAA tourney. With Iowa being 0-3 against the spread their last 3 games and Ohio State's record against quad 1 teams, I think E.J. Liddell and company cover the 5.5 given tonight. Back Ohio State against struggling defense in Iowa City tonight. Make your money. I think Iowa has the weapons on offense to make this a track meet, and they could very well easily cover this 5.5. But Ohio State has been playing very well, and they play good in games against teams like Iowa, given that quad 1 record. This is a quad 1 game against one of the best teams in the country in Iowa and one of the best players in the country in Luka Garza. I just like Ohio State in this game. So we're going to take the 5.5 given Ohio State. E.J. Liddell. Let's rock, you guys. If you've listened to the show before, you know I'm a fan of E.J. Liddell. I really like last night. They actually had him on the college basketball show at halftime, and he was talking about one of his favorite college basketball players to watch. This is E.J. Liddell, but one of his favorite college basketball players to watch was Moses Moody of the Arkansas Razorbacks. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, back Ohio State tonight against Iowa Hawkeyes struggling defense. Second game of the night, Warriors at Mavs. Mavs won last night against the Hawks, which was surprising to me. I took the Hawks last night in picks besides what I do on the show, just personal picks. I really thought the way Atlanta had been playing and Trae Young had been scoring, I thought they would win that game last night. They did not. Mavs showed me up last night. Luka is trying to carry this team right now because Porzingis is still trying to get into the fold of things after the injury. Speaking of Porzingis, he will be out tonight with rest. And that is doubtful. That's not a complete out, so it could change. I'm not going to bet this game until I figure out whether Porzingis is out. Do I still think the Warriors cover 4, which is my pick in this game? Yes, I do, even if Porzingis plays. But I'm still going to wait to see if Porzingis plays, and if the line changes, we might have something there. But Luka's trying to carry this team right now, and he's shooting terrible from three-point range at 29%. Just not great, and it's very uncharacteristic. The Warriors are 7-1 against teams under 500 too. I like that stat. They're 7-1 against teams under 500, and the Mavs are 9-13, which puts them in that category. I think the play is to back the Warriors against the shorthanded Mavs that are struggling to shoot the ball right now, especially if Steph Curry gets into a groove tonight. This could get ugly real quick for the Mavs in Dallas. But take the Warriors +4. We'll lock that in, and we'll move on to the next game. Jazz at Hawks. Jazz are the hottest team in basketball right now at 9-1 in their last 10 games. The Hawks, however, have played 3 games in 4 nights. This is their 3rd game in the 4th night. They just got done getting beat by the Dallas Mavericks, who are very underwhelming right now. The line in this game is 7.5 as of this morning. I think you need to back the 3rd best defense in the NBA in the Jazz against a team that's probably exhausted from traveling and playing their 3rd game on the 4th night. This game is in Atlanta. They are at home, and Trae Young could find a way to shoot lights out again. I just don't see it, though. I bet they're tired. They need a break. The Jazz have had multiple breaks in their last 4 or 5 days. I think 5 days they've played 2 games. So they've had breaks. I think that defense travels tonight, having a day off, the Jazz. I think the 7.5 is the play tonight against the hot play of the Jazz, the defense of the Jazz, and the scoring of the Jazz. Take Jazz -7.5. That is our lock of the night tonight. Like I said, that'll be it for me on picks today. Like I said, we will have Jackson Collier of JC Hoops on the show this weekend, covering all of Saturday's college basketball action. He has some very good insight. I've listened to his podcast before, and he's been on a guest shows here in Arkansas, guest on shows here in Arkansas. I've listened to him. He's very knowledgeable guy. I look forward to having him on. We will also have Colt Schroeder tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's podcast will have Colt Schroeder, and we will be covering everything that is the Super Bowl this weekend. It will be a little bit of a longer episode than normal, but we will be covering the Super Bowl with Colt Schroeder of Built In Buffalo tomorrow morning. Look forward to that. Very excited for this weekend and our guests coming on the show. We appreciate them, and I really appreciate you guys, the listeners, for tuning into the show. Listen, this is the 13th episode. We are still new to this. I am still figuring this out, but we will get there together. I really appreciate the people that have been listening to this on a consistent basis. I will do my best to give you the right picks every night and give you all the right information and put you guys in a place to make money if that's what you're listening to this show for. I once again, I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart for listening to this show. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And some of my friends can attest to that. This is something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully the YouTube is a change of pace and a cool thing for you guys to actually watch me do the podcast. And so you can see my face and facial reactions and whatnot. But thank you again. And that'll be it for me today on this episode of Degenerate Dillon Podcast. Once again, it is February 4th, 2021. My name is Dillon Nelson. We will see you tomorrow morning. Take it easy.